Well, there it is. Hello, welcome to a GBR 1 vs 1 on Echo Isles. This is a game between Albert and Fash, and it looks like Fash is going to be playing as a pink undead who's going graveyard first. So expect fiends from this little fella over here. Is that a crypt? Maybe it is. It is. And Albert is the orc, who we can only assume is doing a standard orc build, which would make sense, right? So, this is a result of a little bit of in-team fighting. So, if you watched the video previously, which would be called Burn Him Down, or it should be called that, I'll see. Maybe I changed the name, but it should be called that. And, yes, that was GBR 2 vs 2, played by myself and Sexy Time versus Albert and Fash, and Albert was whispering me, sort of saying he was going to stomp me with Fash, his ally, and they were going to be like an unstoppable team. But as the games went on, it looks like things didn't go quite their way, and they probably ended up having the odd argument or two within allied chat. So now these two want a 1 vs 1 to truly see who is going to be the victor between them, because if they can't beat me and Sexy Time, they're going to want to fight versus each other to see who's going to win. And we're going to go and watch and see how that works out for them. So we can see Albert is starting off with a Blade Master, and he's getting grunts. Very, very standard build here for your orc. Voodoo Lounge, another peon, and then good to go for the orc player. 2 ghouls for our undead, which means definite fiends. Just waiting on that. There we go. Tomb of Relics. Tomb of Relics. Altar almost up and running. And then we're going to see a fiend be built at the same time. It's a little bit rough. The cigarette probably need to be a little bit later. But at any rate, it's going to happen. Death Knight. Oh, it's not actually. I thought I'd better just double check on that before I say that. I was expecting Death Knight, but no. Lich and fiends. Expect that. So here we go. Albert's going to pick off the Ogre Warrior. What item is he going to go for? Oh, Circlet of Nobility. Certainly a very nice little item to start off there as an Orc Blade Master. He hasn't sold his Scroll of Town Portal yet. He has the opportunity to do so. Not time to pick up Boots of Speed yet. You can always, as a Blade Master, come down to these corner spots on Echo Isle and pick off the Ogre Magi. He's the blue big ogre, and he can drop a nice item and give you some good experience because he's a level 5 creep, I believe. So we can see 2 fiends are now out. Fash straight away selling the Scroll of Town Portal, picking up a Rod of Necromancy, Sacrificial Scar, Dust of Appearance. This looks like a tower rush then. This could be quite effective. That would explain the Lich, because the Lich has a bit of presence and he's ranged, so he can be consistently hitting his opponent. Albert's got some good burrow placement here. His shop's definitely quite far out, but that's because of the style he's playing, which is somewhat aggressive. Make sure that Blade Master has a little bit of travel time at the very start. But I wonder if that's going to backfire, because it looks like it probably is very shortly. Cigarettes can be placed nicely along this line here, and that's going to do quite a lot of potential damage versus Albert, who's taking up, and he's almost halfway through, so theoretically he should be able to get access to demolishes, and I assume he's going to probably build himself a war mill as soon as he sees what's going to go down here. Going to get ready to pick up a boost of speed for the Blade Master. I don't think he's quite realised here though. No, there we go. Yeah, he's heading back to base now, because he was about to go off and creep there. So more fiends coming out for Fash. Peon on Acolyte action back in the Undead base. We can see Fash as he uses Sacrificial Skull and is now rebuilding cigarettes on top of the blight created by the Sacrificial Skull. This shop is pretty much free kill at this point in time, but not just yet. Definitely got to deal with the immediate threat, which is the Blade Master and the Grunts. Frost Armor, very nice touch. It does look like Fash knows what he's doing. And you've got to think of it this way. If he doesn't get these towers up, he's still getting free kills on these Grunts, and it's giving him a sort of a presence a power dominance within his opponent's base. So this is actually really nasty for Albert. And Albert obviously did not see this one coming, because his 2 grunts and his blade master are looking very ill right now. There's 4 fiends just pumping down consistent damage, and when convenient, Fash will just throw down some more cigarettes. He can cancel them and get relatively almost all of his money back, and it looks like he's pretty confident on the win here. And I've got to be honest, this does look quite fortunate for him, in the sense that he's played this exactly right. Very aggressive map, Echo Isles, short distance, and he was probably expecting Albert to play standard, I guess, Orc, because it is very strong against Undead, except for when Undead do stuff like this and you don't see it coming. So I'm not sure if Albert did throw down a scout. He did have a peon there, but I'm not sure if it got the vital information it needed to see, such as the Lich coming on its way to the Orc base to put down you know, the sacrificial skull, because if you see a sacrificial skull in your opponent's inventory, then you can pretty much assume they're going to be using that offensively. And yes, this looks really nasty right now, because one of these towers might end up going up, but at any rate it doesn't matter too much, because Fash has still got complete and utter control. As Sexy Times just mentioned, there is Nova there as well for the Lich if he chooses to use it, but clearly doesn't care all that much. He's just loving it right now. He's now actually pressing the attack whilst his buildings go up. He's actually getting a crypt here as well to keep producing those fiends. Needless to say, Albert has almost definitely lost at this point. There is not a thing you can do at this point, not even Grubby can come back here. When you've got all of these fiends and a Lich just arced around, and this is all you've got going for you. Demolishers are being produced, like I say, it's tier 2, the War Mill. You've got that up and running. Demolishers will come out, but they're not going to be that much use against the fiends, so he basically has to keep these burrows up and running so he can protect the Demolishers. And the Blade Master's running back into base. He hasn't got enough mana for Wind Walk, so he's almost definitely going to die. And he's second. Oh no, he's not. Oh my goodness, is he? No, he's not. He's not. Looks like the Lich wants to let him get away. Maybe the Lich picked Dark Ritual and not Frost Nova, or Fash is just sort of almost keeping Albert in the game a little bit here, just to sort of, you know, revel in his dominance at the moment, because it does look like Albert is in a lot of trouble. And 5 Crypt Fiends and a Lich, along with more Crypt Fiends being built from, if this was StarCraft 2 you would call it a proxy crypt. Yeah, it's not looking good for Albert. No tech needed, as we can see, for Fash, because he's not going to be dealing with Wyverns. He's not going to need the web for the Fiends. Fiends are super strong units, basically, and they're going to carry Fash all the way. He did get Frost Nova. He just used it on that one peon just for lols. Yeah, there's no way for Albert here. He'd have to get 3 Demolishers out and keep them back whilst his towers and burrows defended against the Fiends, and then he could stay in the game. But at any rate, Fash hasn't lost anything. Even if he loses his aggressive stance over here, it's not great, I would admit, you know, losing those towers, the resources, the crypt, but he's still got the Fiends and the Lich to fall back on, and the Undead base is untouched right now, so he's still looking very good. Albert really needs that second Demolisher out. It's almost out. 2 Demolishers is going to be decent. That Demolisher is in a terrible spot, getting hit by the Nerubian Tower. Fiends are going to be doing a lot of damage to it. If there was just one more straight up volley, it would definitely take out that Demolisher. It looks like Albert might just be able to get it back. One more hit from the Fiend. That Demolisher is going down. Albert taking the opportunity though to try to pick off whatever units he can with the Blade Master whilst the Fiends are distracted with the Demolishers, but that really hurt. You did not want to lose that Demolisher, and that was very unfortunate. He needs to rally it a little bit better. That way he can save it and stop it from getting hit by the Nerubian Tower. And we can see a Spirit Tower is almost up and running, so there's going to be some consistent damage coming from the Undead offensive towers. Blade Master just not really able to do all that much here. Albert's in a bit of a predicament. He's not in the greatest position. His peons are easily picked off by the Fiend volleys, as you can see, so he's finding it hard. He's going to get that second Demolisher up again. Hopefully he's going to be slightly better position. There we go, that's a little bit better. At the back of the base preferably. Now he's using them against the Fiends, and that's quite respectable, to be honest, because he's going to get kills from it, which is going to work towards his Blade Master. And right now those towers aren't the biggest threat, so actually the demolishers are actually quite well placed to attack the fiends and not the towers. If he can go for the towers now, for example, now that the fiends are backed off, it's probably a good idea, and he definitely wants to take them off ground attack, because that's not going to do him much good. He wants to take whatever opportunity he can to pick on the fiends, and otherwise definitely do a couple of volleys every now and then on the towers and hit those, because the siege damage is going to do a lot of damage. It's going to cost a lot of resources to repair back up for just 1 or 2 hits from a demolisher. Fiends are in a bit of trouble here, kind of. I mean, they have still got the blight, so they're going to benefit from 4 times healing regeneration. But you can see those demolisher are not exactly anti-fiend units, because they have medium armor, so they're going to take reduced damage from siege. But it doesn't seem to stop the fact that these demolishers do a lot of damage. So when they do hit, they're still going to hit with a bit of a pack of a punch. Took a while for me to get that phrase out there, but I managed to do it. Albert needs just a little bit more wood so he can actually get another demolisher out, because the more of these he can get out, the better. But if we see that Fash has teched all of this time, he's been teching now, so that is pretty much gonna... We've got 3 demolishers actually, speaking of that, but the problem is if Albert does manage to fight this off, and the fiends are coming in for the volley, so the demolisher is going to be picked off. Very unfortunate there. He needs just a few more trees chopped here and there. Blademaster in a bit of a predicament, using Windwalk to get out of such a predicament. Oh, these demolishers. Needs the wood, more peons, more burrows right at the very back. This is very nasty. But you can see the problem here is that Fash has got that tier 2, so you could get slaughterhouse or potentially air units, and then these demolishers are going to be in trouble. It means that Fash would be able to take away sort of a dominance over the map. Oh, is that Blademaster going to get hit? No, he isn't. He's going to still benefit from his clarity potion. Oh my. Oh, we got a sacrificial... Not yet. This Acolyte looks like it's waiting to build something, but it hasn't quite committed to it yet, because Fash is clearly too busy and preoccupied over here. Oh, slaughterhouse, proxy slaughterhouse. Well, there we go. Well, that's one way to get your meat wagons into the enemy's base. Oh, that fiend overstepping the mark. Blademaster watching as it dies. Demolishes. Need to get in a better position. It's not the most comfortable position, and they're very slow and chunky, so the fiends can get in a decent position. They can do a lot of damage with a volley attack. Just definitely got to keep that barracks up and running. Still need more peons for the wood, for the repair, and everything else that goes with it. Certainly don't need any more towers at this point. But when those meat wagons start getting produced, we're going to have a bit of trouble here. Fash, unfortunately, is in a bit of an issue here, because he's concentrating so much over here. He's lost track of the fact that he actually sent an Acolyte over here to do something for whatever reason, and has forgotten to send it back. So he's currently only mining with 4 Acolytes, which is actually going to have a bit more of an impact if Albert actually can come back any further into the game, as he already has been doing. I would have thought the game would be over by now, but apparently not. You can still hold up as an Orc player, but you need to do the best you can do with keeping that barracks up and running and keeping a defensive stance. Using the demolishers was very nice though against the fiends. I like that touch. And the Lich, level 3, so still pretty powerful. If we could get an Orb of Corruption though, that'd be good. Oh, statues are out first, so just to keep the fiends sort of like supplied, and then moving on to meat wagons a little bit later. So I understand the statues first, because you're always going to want the statues generally, and Fash hasn't quite lost all of his dominance here. Even if he loses the towers, he's still got all these fiends. And it looks like he won't necessarily be able to pick off Albert just yet, but you've got to remember that fiends can still sit on the outside and just keep hitting the stronghold without really being hit by too much. Taking a little bit of damage from towers here and there, but while sitting on blight, you're going to be able to heal up quite a lot through that. Not to mention the obsidian statue is going to be pretty much keeping your fiends in the game. Fiends just taking any opportunity they can to get a few volley hits on the demolishers, as you can see. Definitely worthwhile doing, because it forces Albert to bring those demolishers back, waste time trying to repair them. You're not necessarily going to get a kill. Here we see a meat wagon is finally out. That's going to be consistent threat there. More meat wagons being produced for Fash. Meat wagons hitting the middle demolisher, not actually doing that much damage, because demolishers actually have heavy armor, so they don't really take any extra damage from siege. But still, oh, the demolishers are definitely doing a lot of damage to that meat wagon though, and it's going to go down. Needs to move it back. He just about moves it back in time before another volley comes out there, so he does get to keep that. Death Knight moving in very suicidally. He's actually probably going to die here. The Blade Master has a Windwalker 2 up his belt. I wonder whether Albert wants to go for it. Frost Armor does deter him slightly. Tauren Chieftain is now out. Oh, the finishing hit there. Nice little critical strike on the meat wagon. Albert actually pressing out his towers a little bit here. Just trying to give himself a little bit more of a position. A little bit more of a ground. Oh, the Fiends are going to finish the Blade Master. Oh no, not quite. So close. 2 demolishes. Fiends are still en masse. Statue looking a little bit worse for wear, but as long as he doesn't die, he's still going to be always useful, producing the health. Looks like the Fiends are coming in for more follies. Demolishes back up to 3. Tauren Chieftain needs to throw down a Stomp or a Shockwave or get out of there because he's definitely dead. Yep, he's dead. No doubt about it. We've lost a Demolisher. No, we haven't. Have we? I don't know. We've still only got 3 Demolishers though. We can see Fash hasn't actually really got many resources left. Has he still got... No, he's managed to put back 5 Acolytes onto the gold mine. Oh my. This is a real back and forth game. We actually have this watchtower up and running, so Albert's just doing the best he can. The Blade Master's going to have Windwalk soon. We definitely want to keep this watchtower up and running. If not, then make the most of the opportunity to try and pick off some Fiends whilst they do have to force themselves to bring down that watchtower. So Albert has actually brought himself up to level 3 as well. So level 2 Windwalk is going to be very useful. Permit me to drink some water right now. Alright. So, Meat Wagon finding it very difficult to get in a decent position where it can attack and not get absolutely demolished by demolishers. Speaking of being demolished, there was a demolisher getting demolished. Oh, demolish. Yes, the Fiends are taking the opportunity, as I've mentioned before, whenever possible to try to get hits, and preferably folly hits, because it's harder to predict the amount of damage you're going to take when you get like 5 or 6 Fiends hitting at the same time, because they got a delayed attack. So then, boom, suddenly you're down to like half health on your Demolisher. Meat Wagon can definitely sit very comfortably at the back here. I would probably just sit it on the Stronghold and dance around with the Fiends, because the Demolishers can't do too much, and just bear in mind that if they do go for your Meat Wagon, be prepared to move it to reduce the amount of damage that the Meat Wagon will be taking. So we can see the resources still aren't too great here for Fash, which is why we're not seeing like a whole multitude of Meat Wagons up and running. These Fiends are still in a little bit of trouble. Looks like the statue has been lost. Blade Master coming out here. He's still got a powerful presence. What units? 2 more Fiends coming through. Attack towards tier 3 could be the way to go. Frostworms would give the Undead player complete dominance, because that's where I think this might have to go. This game is, it might be a case where you actually have to give up your chance of taking out the opponent's main base, but you will still get the win if you continue to creep the map and make sure that your Lich and Death Knight are as powerful as possible. Dust of Appearance allowing Fash to get the finishing hit on that Blade Master after he almost escaped. That is a critical hit there, right there. That is not what Albert wanted to happen. That was very, very unfortunate for Albert, and all of these Fiends are actually in a bit of trouble, because if Albert's paid enough attention, he can still ground attack here where the Fiends burrowed, so they're going to be regenerating health. But if he can remember and do some ground attacks there, he'll be able to pick off a Fiend or 2. So I wonder if he's going to do it. He's still going to do some passive splash damage here. Let's have a look. See, that Fiend does take damage from hits. Yes, it is. You can see these heroes hanging around those injured Fiends means that those Fiends aren't healing up all that quickly. 4 Demolishers up and running now. Oh, they're doing quite a bit of damage to that Lich, actually. Fiends unburrowing, making sure that the next watchtower doesn't go up. Maybe get a... Oh no, trying to get like a folly hit here and there on the Demolishers. But the watchtowers are in pretty good positions here and there, so they can help prevent the Fiends. Oh, Orb of Corruption now. Tier 3 has been achieved, as we can see. So Orb of Corruption is going to help quite a bit here to probably pick off units with those folly attacks. So the Lich hits, and then 5 to 6 Fiend hits. The Lich's attack is going to hit first. Orb of Corruption, -5 armor on the unit is hitting. Then the Fiend's hits are going to hit afterwards and do a lot of additional damage, because the units they'll be attacking are probably going to be suffering from that -5 armor. This is quite the game indeed. Well played so far by both. It's definitely made the game very interesting indeed. I like it. Blademaster almost back. He needs to be in a position. God damn, Sexy Titan's such a whiner. I'm like, dude, I'm like 90% sure they are trolling us. Are you stupid? This is dumb. He's gonna like me doing that voice for him. Yeah, no, I don't think this is a troll game. I think this is just genuinely both players are trying to hold out for all they can. I don't think this is a troll game. Suspicious much? Anyway, we can see the demolishers again. One demolisher's caught out. You can see the -5 armor means that demolisher goes down a lot quicker. Ugh. I gotta say, Fash is still looking pretty powerful. Remember, he's got the tier 3, he's got the Orb of Corruption, his heroes are still strong. He's got, what, 4, 6 Fiends there. Albert's still forced with these demolishers, and now that Orb of Corruption, you can see what I mean by that Orb of Corruption. It makes a huge impact when trying to pick off these demolishers. Not to mention there's an extra Fiend or 2 there to help do the damage. Right. I'd say that Fash is finally in a position to probably push much more strongly. Definitely needs to get a meat wagon or 2, just have them positioned here, constantly attacking the stronghold, forcing Albert to be repairing whilst his Fiends and army are just attacking demolishers and nearby towers on the outside of Albert's base. Blademaster looking for an opportunity to do something. Coming back actually would be a good opportunity to pick off a Fiend or 2. With that Blademaster, should be able to do enough damage, but he hasn't got much mana, so he could put himself into a bit of a predicament here. Should the Frost Armor get a hit? Yes! Blademaster is slowed. Are we going to see Frost Nova and all of that? Not going to pick off the Blademaster just yet, but going to get some good damage on him. Still a couple of demolishers out. Those peons must be very annoyed at Albert. They're like, oh, I've got to repair for this noob. Nah, I don't mean that. Fiend kill, almost definitely, but it does mean the Blademaster is going to be slightly slow. He will be able to return back to base, Death Knight in a bit of a trouble, but he's got hero armor and that blight to fall back on and repair. Well, not repair, but heal up. Meat wagons, yes, get those meat wagons. A couple of meat wagons, bang on the stronghold. Alright, we got a lot of resources for Fash now. If he can take a moment to just macro up a little bit and get Frostworms up and running, he's almost definitely got this. Albert's, yes, got a lot of gold as well. He definitely wants to spend that on Orb of Lightning and probably whack a bit of gold onto Potion of Healing or Potion of Mana. Because you may as well spend that gold, and he's not got a comfortable way to do it right now because he hasn't got any other places to really build things. He's got no control. This tower screws him over quite a lot, this one here. I'm losing my voice from all of this. Tauren Chieftain just wants to get a little bit stronger so he can do more than just get 2 hits and then get focused. Demolishers pushing out a little bit farther. Got to be careful with the positioning. Fiend Folly's coming in. Is he going to lose that Demolisher? Definitely going to lose that Demolisher. The next one might go down. Oh no, Fash doesn't want to press too hard. He's going to lose a Fiend for it. But I dare say that losing 1 Fiend for 1 Demolisher is going to be way more productive for Fash than it is going to be for Albert, considering how long it takes to get those Demolishers up and running. So we just want this meat wagon. In fact, we could see Necromancers, potentially. That would be doable. Fash definitely needs to take a timeout, as I've mentioned, to spend money on those buildings that he needs, just the tech, get that up and running. He's going for web. Not sure if he sees the air or he suspects it's coming up, because he hasn't got the towers to fall back on anymore. So playing it safe in that sense. I'm enjoying Sexy Time's anger. Gold hoarding is basically the way it is at the moment for Albert because he's got no gold left. So every little counts. Ah, another Demolisher kill. Needs to rally back. Better rally points. If Albert's going to learn anything from this game, rally to the back of your base, not at the front. Okay. We can see Fash is now pushing a little bit harder now. He's got the damage, but Albert's coming in there with the Blade Master at the back, trying to pick off the meat wagons, doing all that he can, but there's not that much that he can do. Oh, we can see Disease Cloud is up and running for the meat wagons, so that's going to be nice little consistent damage for the peons. They're not going to like that much. They're just trying to do a job, and they're having a rough time of it. Fash hasn't got... He's got a lot of gold and wood, don't get me wrong, but you've got to remember both of these players are now out of gold mines. The game has been going on that long that they've actually farmed out all of the gold from their natural gold mines. Blade Master, oh, narrowly avoiding a death there. Get the clarity potions going, get the healing cells going, and then I would have definitely got an Orb of Lightning. He's not really spending these resources because he probably wants to go for, you know, other buildings. Or no, he's got a barracks at the back here because he's lost the barracks at the front here. Wyverns, he's going to need quite a few of them before he engages because Web is going to tear them to pieces if they come in small numbers. And he's going to need that Blade Master like fully healed up. And that's not helping. Taking a Frost Nova hit there. So he needs to get as strong as he can do with that Blade Master, and then with the Wyverns, if he can get, you know, 3 of them ideally, he can come in with the Wyverns, the Tauren Chieftain, the Blade Master, and really focus down on those fiends. Probably lose a Wyvern or 2, but he's not exactly in a position where he can mass them up that much more. But that would be his best bet in my opinion. He's scouting out for an expansion, which is probably a good idea, because you don't know, do you? If he knows his opponent doesn't have an expansion though, he knows that he actually is in a position to potentially actually win this. I've got to say, Fash is still looking strong though, so I wouldn't give it to either player right now. So Albert's just really got to pick apart his opponent, and in a defensive position like this, as long as he can keep that stronghold up and running, because that is the key really. I know there's no gold mine left, but losing that means you're going to lose a lot of your sort of presence in the game, so you don't really want to do that. Blade Master's definitely going to pick off this meat wagon, and he's got enough mana to get out there, so that's a huge hit there. Does look like Fash is going to be pissed off, getting a few more hits. Blade Master can just clarity potion and healing salve up again. Very, very productive hero. So there's another meat wagon. And statues, a wise investment. Statues would be your better bet now, because you're getting to the point now where you're actually going to be relying on your army to win the game, not so much the meat wagons and the siege. So, oh, that's a nice little volley there. Take that, Demolisher. Blade Master really should have... I mean, he's out of gold now, so you could argue that's the reason why he wasn't getting an Orb of Lightning, but I would still argue that it was well and truly worthwhile getting an Orb of Lightning, so that's definitely something I would have got. Plus it would help versus the Frost Armor, because you can purge. In come the Wyverns, Peons are coming in, Blade Master's got to move in on those Fiends. There are no towers to defend here, Fiend being coiled, got to pick off those Fiends before they pick off your Wyverns. Peons still trying to step in, absorbing some of the Frost Nova there. Blade Master in a bit of trouble there, almost taking in a Death Coil. We've got a Destroyer up and running. And the Demolisher's in a bad place right now. So Wyvern's still up and running, but Albert can't really afford to lose anything, and neither can his opponent, Fash, who can't have that much mana. He's got 82 for the Death Knight and 91. Got to be careful with those Fiends. Oh, that was close. He really needs to keep pulling his opponent back though to these towers, which is what basically Albert wants, because this is a point in the game where you need to get a few lucky kills and maybe you can come back. Here we go. So Peons are stepping in. Those Fiends can take a bit of damage from Peons. Don't underestimate the Peons when they're just constantly attacking the Fiends. Here we go. Shockwave going on the Fiends there. Blade Master trying to get in a position, trying to pick off the Fiends. There's no switch at the moment to the Blade Master. Wyverns are taking a lot of damage here. Oh, but one Wyvern comes out of web just in time. Another Wyvern going down. Another Wyvern going down. 2 Wyverns left. 3rd Wyvern going down. So it's up to this Blade Master to pick off as many things as possible, but it's not being easy for Blade Master Boy over there because Death Knight Boy is throwing down the coils. Destroyer on a minimal amount of health, and that Blade Master is nowhere near capable of dealing with the rest of this undead army. GG. Looks like Fash is going to take it. Peons are not going to be enough to take home the win. And there you go. Orb of Lightning might have been enough to come back here, but that was pretty intense. Very well played by both of these guys. You got to remember, neither of them are pros. I'm not a pro, so you got to take it into account for what you're seeing in the game. And these two have done well for their skill levels. So very well done indeed. Provided a very good game for us all to witness. But nevertheless, we can right now admit that there is almost no chance of Albert winning. But he is a stubborn enough player that he will probably just stay in this and wait for Fash to pretty much siege him down. And I can understand that, because maybe Fash might overstep his mark and lose the Destroyer. This is what I would do. Very good move there from Albert, is use, you know, control, group all of those watchtowers and focus down the Destroyer when Fash might not be paying attention to it. So you could admit there might be a bit of complacency.
The town is under siege.
Depends. Does Fash want to play this ultra safe and just basically finish off the rest of these buildings with the meat wagon? Blade Master is super strong though, so I wouldn't put it past the Blade Master being able to come back and do something, but I don't know. That Tauren Chieftain going down is certainly not going to help Albert. This looks like the end. I mean, I like to try to give people an opportunity to come back, but I think this really is it now. I think Albert's done very well to survive up until this point. If he had a little bit more control over the demolishers and got an Orb of Lightning, maybe worked on chopping down the correct trees. This is very easy for me to say because it's all through a hindsight and as an observer, but if he gave himself more space for those trees, he'd be able to build up the bestiary quicker, get that army out. Who knows? He's waiting for this Blade Master to just passively get his mana back. Disease Cloud is not giving the Blade Master a good time either, because he's not got a healing salve, and you can see he's taken a while to get his health back. Obsidian Statue would be the next target, definitely, because that's going to keep the undead army going. Fash finally growing totally impatient and moving in here. He's going for the meat wagon, but a meat wagon can be frost armored, so that's really rough to deal with, because you don't want to be getting the slow on your Blade Master. Bit of smack talk from the two players. Get it out of your system. It is actually a pretty good strat versus Orc, and as you can see, it worked. And it worked especially well because Albert wasn't prepared for this. He did well though to try to counter it, considering he came into the realization of what was happening a bit late. But yeah, when you're not used to it, and it's an obscure strategy to come across, so you need to play quite a lot. If you play a lot, then you're going to be more or less ready for this kind of thing. But if you don't, if you play every now and then, it's quite easy to get caught out by things like this, because you really need to scout. The peon needs to see that lich coming with a sacrificial skull. If he misses that, that's pretty every second counts basically, for every second that you don't see that lich coming towards your base with sacrificial skull. Nicely played by both there, but Fash staying strong and controlling dominance over Albert, and he's going to like that. Right then, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please subscribe, like and comment. Remember to thumbs up the video, that helps me a lot. Share this with your friends and favourite the video. Thanks, I'll see you later. Take care.
Troll. I used to be a troll rogue. Troll. I ain't got time.
I was in one of the top guilds. Do you know Method? Method.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It sounds big headed. I was in top guilds. Do you know method. I played decaying method.
Troll.